guys, good morning and happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is 5 a.m. on the dot here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I want to talk about the Ahmaud Arbery case today again a bit. There's been at least two new developments since the initial arrests. The one is there was the third arrest of the person who videotaped the incident. Now, don't get me wrong when I say this, but I was a bit surprised with the charge of murder on him, as that he was from, I don't know, I'm familiar with the law, but he was filming it. He was obviously standing further back and filming the incident. I don't know if there's charges of like conspiracy to commit murder, abetting a crime, or not preventing a crime. That he was actually charged with murder. When I think of murder, I think of somebody taking somebody else's life, and I could see that he was involved in it, but I don't know how that works. I'd like to read. I'd like to read more about this is my worry is that charge of murder easily provable? Can they get a conviction, or should he maybe been charged with something else that he'd be able to be convicted of easier? Like I said, I'm not saying he didn't play as much a role. I don't know. We got to see the trial. I got to see all the facts. I'm just saying the charge of murder, I don't know. I don't know if another charge would have been more better for a conviction, for describing the crime that he committed. I don't know. All right, now I want to talk about the video that came out of Ahmaud being tasered. When I saw that video, I was like, oh no. Oh, man. Okay, I'm part white. I'm part Native American. I'm mostly half white and half Native American. I hear through my whole life, I hear what white people say. I hear what my family, my friends say about black people when black people aren't around. And when, what they honestly think. Just like I'm sure black people, their honest opinions. I mean, we're all people. We're all a lot alike. I think we all kind of not when you don't know, when you're not familiar with somebody, you're a little fearful, and I think that's where racism comes from. I think we need to remember that. Like when I talked about in another video about the smells of a kitchen, made me remember that we're all just freaking people. That's the bottom line. That black kitchen, that black household kitchen smelled just like the kitchen I grew up in. Anyway, all right, this is what worried me. When I heard, now I could see Ahmaud was angry, was frustrated with the situation. He was sitting in his car. I don't know why. You don't know why. We don't know why yet. Maybe we'll never know why. He was sitting in his car in what the police described as a high drug area. That's not illegal. There's to this day, I still have to go shopping. You could text, you could be doing a variety of things, and just you can't be, just being in an area isn't illegal. There was no charges, no drugs found in his car, no nothing. So therefore, I could see his frustration. This, I'm going to be flat out, this is what bothered me. This has not bothered me. It was what worried me. When I heard him talk to white people, he sounded black. He sounded scary black. He sounded urban. That scares white people. White people that aren't familiar, that aren't used to just being around different cultures. And I know what a lot of white people would say. I know what people that I know in my circle some of the people in my circle would say. As soon as they heard his tone and his language, the way he talked, this is my point. Being Native American, I've paid attention, I've studied, I've looked back a lot on my history of Native Americans, and our culture was robbed from us. I was recently watching something about the Cherokee and how they were just trying to turn these Native Americans into European settlers, basically, and just they wanted to take away their language, their song, their dress, all of their culture, and make them fit in, so they weren't scary. That angered me so much, because to this day, so much of our culture, Native American culture, is lost because they were scared of something they weren't familiar with, meaning the European settlers, and they felt more comfortable if everybody was like them. Bottom line, that's what I see in this video. That's what I'm thinking will happen with this video. When people hear, I don't know if you call it the syntax. I do not use the word ebonics. That's, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know how to say this right, but just the way black people talk. Bottom line. And he was angry, and bam, and that's what us white people heard. And it immediately makes us scared. It makes us fearful. And when I say us, I don't mean me. I mean white people. You know what I'm saying? So I think his fear and frustration with being harassed, and the worst part is he is complying with the officers. Hands up, hands down, hands out of the pockets, and the cop just tasers him. There's a still photo of him with his hands up and the cop hitting him with the taser. Why? He's complying. You know why? Because Ahmaud was giving them lip. Would that happen with a white man? No. But anyway, back to the way he was talking. I guarantee that a large portion of people are going to look at that, and immediately they're going to judge him by that, because they're fearful and they don't have experience with other cultures. It sounds scary to them. It sounds aggressive. It sounds uneducated. That's what they'll say, but they won't say it as nicely as I am. And when I saw that video, I knew how some people would view it, and it's not right. It's not right. It's out of fear and not misunderstanding, but just ignorance, and not being involved. Just because somebody sounds different or talks different or has different words for different things other than us, you, me, doesn't make them more aggressive, more criminal, more, you know what I'm saying? So that's my point. When you look at that video and you hear Ahmaud talk, don't concentrate on how he sounds. Think about his frustration. If you put yourself in his position, if you were sitting in your car in a parking lot, texting your girlfriend, cops pull you out and put tasers on you, how'd you feel? At first I'd go along with it. At some point, depending on my mood, depending on my day would go, I'd get angry. And I would have sounded like him. Well, not like him, but in my own culture, how I sound when I get angry. So my point here is, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people that are going to judge that in the wrong manner. They're going to judge that as he looks like a criminal. He looks like he's up to no good, because they're fearful of the way they're not familiar with his syntax, with his speech, his culture, and they fear it. They fear what they're not familiar with. So when you watch it, try to put yourself in his position. If you were pulled out of the car when you weren't doing anything wrong. Like I said, there was no drugs. As far as I know, there was no charges or anything. So, and he was tased. And the worst part of this too, or not worst, but somewhat comical part is the taser did not hit his skin, and he still stands there complying with their demands, their orders, even though they just tasered him. The taser didn't work. The taser is used because somebody's out of control to get them to comply. He's complying. He was complying before. He's complying after. He's complying while you're tasering him. And the taser didn't work, and he's still complying. That's what I see. That's what I see. Would I be frustrated? Hell yeah. You know? So don't be fearful of just because you're not familiar with a culture. It doesn't make them bad. Doesn't make them evil or criminal. Just different. All right? You guys have a good Saturday.